My name is Michael Geller. I'm a retired architect and planner, property developer living in Vancouver. I'm also affiliated with Simon Fraser University's Center for Sustainable Community Development, where I'm an adjunct professor. I first discovered the Lumen balcony glass system in Europe. I love to travel, and I saw it in Germany, I saw it in Scandinavia. I came back to Vancouver and I wondered, why aren't we installing this system on balconies where so often it's raining and it's cold, and balconies are really only used in the summer, not year round. And I happened to run into representatives of the company. This was about 3 years ago, and we developed a relationship. And since then, I've been working with architects and developers and municipalities, both at the political and the staff level, to encourage them to allow the system to be enclosed on balconies in new projects, as well as in existing projects where, again, literally thousands of balconies are not used year-round. Often when I ask realtors, why aren't balconies used? He said, they're like exercise equipment. Everybody thinks they should have it, but then they rarely use it. And they worry that if they sell their home, no one will buy it without a usable balcony. Now we can create that usable balcony. If COVID has taught us one thing over the last year and a half, it's the importance of having outdoor space, especially in high-rise apartment buildings and other apartment forms. And that's one of the reasons, I think, why over the last 3 years, there's been such an increased popularity in the Lumen retractable glass system. And while 3 years ago it really had limited applications, today we're beginning to see architects and developers throughout Metro Vancouver and across Canada increasingly exploring how to install this in their new projects, as well as in existing projects. Somebody once asked me, why am I so much in favor? And I reminded them that I've always loved to own convertible cars. One of the advantages of a convertible, for those of you who had them, is you know when the weather's good, you can open the top, and when the weather's bad, you close it up. Retractable balcony glass systems, like the one manufactured by Lumen, allow you to do exactly the same thing with your balcony. In the summer, it can be completely open, like any other balcony. But the rest of the year, you can begin to enclose the space so that it becomes much more functional. One of the things I particularly like is that you can improve the energy performance. Even though there's small spaces between the glass panels, the energy performance is improved quite significantly. The other thing is just noise attenuation. In many Canadian cities, we increasingly are building new apartments and other forms of development along busy arterial streets. And the benefits in terms of noise attenuation are absolutely remarkable. The other thing, busy streets become polluted streets. And by being able to close that glass, you can begin to reduce the amount of pollution that gets both into the balcony and also into the units when the balcony doors are open. Another real advantage, especially where we're building high-rise buildings, is the fact that this can attenuate the wind. In higher buildings, many people can't even use their balconies because it's just simply so windy. But by closing up the glass, and some might say, well, is it safe? Yes, it is safe, because these products have been tested nationally to withstand wind loads. And that's one of the reasons why increasingly in parts of Canada where buildings are now much more than 20 stories or 30 stories, they're up to 50 and 60 stories, having retractable glass on balconies in these higher buildings is a tremendous benefit. The installation of balconies on buildings in Canada has an interesting history. For many years, we didn't put balconies on buildings because they counted in the area of the apartment. And rather than build a balcony, the developers preferred to increase the size of the suite. But eventually, the governments realized that balconies offered a benefit, and so the area of the balcony was excluded from the size of the apartment. And that's the way most zoning bylaws were written in Canada. The problem is that while open balconies were excluded, If the balcony was completely enclosed with glass, then it became part of the apartment suite area. And these zoning bylaws were written before products like Lumen became available across our country. And one of the interesting things I've been doing with Lumen is meeting with politicians and planners from some municipalities that are a little bit reluctant to allow the installation because they worry that it's effectively increasing the size of the suite. And so I have been working with them to demonstrate that indeed this is not the same as completely enclosing the balconies. And I often tell my friends about a meeting I had with one municipality where the senior planner seemed to be somewhat reluctant about changing their zoning bylaws or allowing the widespread application of balcony glass. But I will always remember how encouraged I was at the end of the meeting when, as we were literally going out the door, he said, "I do have to tell you, I would love to have this system installed on the balcony in my apartment building." And indeed, we've subsequently managed to get approval from that municipality to allow the widespread application of retractable balcony glass in both new and existing buildings. Somebody recently asked me, if this is such a good idea, why wasn't it done before? And the only response I could give them is just think how long it took before they started putting wheels on luggage.